Thousands of Ukrainian soldiers killed by made-in-China first aid kits. Michigan EV plant brings communism to the US. Appealing movie exposes Chinese cybercrime in Burma. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Thousands of Ukrainian soldiers killed by made-in-China first aid kits. The British media The Spectator recently published an investigative report by a reporter on the front line of the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield, which mainly focused on the Ukrainian army's first aid. The report mentioned that made-in-China inferior products seem to be one of the main culprits that killed Ukrainian soldiers. Many know that, among the first aid kits, tourniquets are perhaps the most needed first aid tool, particularly when the evacuation process is prolonged. But if tourniquets are badly made, they can be lethal. The investigation report revealed that the first aid kits distributed by the Ukrainian army on the front line were of very poor quality. Ukrainian military officials have chosen to buy the tourniquets from China because they cost just about £2, while a Ukrainian stitch tourniquet is £15, and an authentic American tourniquet comes in at around £35. But there have been complaints from the front line about made-in-China tourniquets that either gradually lose pressure or come apart, causing the wounded soldiers to renew bleeding with fatal consequences. According to the report, the military doctors of the Ukrainian army said that at least two-thirds of the Ukrainian soldiers who died were actually caused by excessive blood loss. One doctor explained what happens to the injured person on the front line. You have to drag a person with your hands approximately 3 to 5 kilometers. You can't drive there even in armored vehicles because of the heavy shellings and mines. Due to the shortage of proper medical supplies, medics have to use the substandard medical kits. That's why many Ukrainian soldiers died from blood loss. Another problem is that corruption has been flourishing. One example is the proliferation of low-quality medical supplies being used to treat Ukrainian soldiers. Volodymyr Prudnikov, the head of Ukraine's Medical Forces Command's procurement department, has recently been dismissed. He was accused of supplying 11,000 uncertified Chinese tactical medical kits to the front line. Prudnikov gave the contract to his daughter-in-law's company and used the Chinese equipment purchased by his daughter-in-law to pass it off as NATO standard. He has faced an investigation. According to internal information obtained by a Ukrainian reporter, the death toll on the Ukrainian side in this Russian-Ukrainian conflict may exceed 310,000, and the number of injured exceeds 1 million. At that time, some people claim that many soldiers did not die on the front line, but died on the way back to hospitals in the rear front after being injured. Russia is, of course, responsible for the lives lost in the war, but it seems undeniable that the Ukrainian authorities' neglect of the medical necessities is leading to a far higher death toll. And China, of course, is another culprit. Michigan EV plant brings communism to the US. A China-based company behind the US taxpayer-funded electric vehicle, EV, battery plant in Michigan has published reports showing some employees raising their fists pledging loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, while others tour a museum wearing what looks like Red Army uniforms. Godion High-Tech, which is the China-based parent company of Godion Incorporated that is developing an EV battery plant near Big Rapids, recently published reports and video footage showing its staffers participating in pro-communist activities at an apparent work retreat. According to reports, Godion Incorporated secured a $1 billion taxpayer support for its factory near Big Rapids, at an overall cost of $2.4 billion. Concerns about the deal have been raised by Michigan residents, Republicans, and environmental groups. Fight for communism to the end of my life. Records first reported by the Daily Caller National Foundation, DCNF, show that, during the summer of 2021, employees of Godion High-Tech went on field trips to communist revolutionary memorials in China, donning Red Army outfits and pledging to fight for communism to the end of my life. According to footage translated by the Daily Caller National Foundation, the employees chanted during a trip to China's Revolutionary Memorial Hall in July 2021, "I volunteer to join the CCP, uphold the party's platform, observe the provisions of the party's bylaws, carry out a member's duties, carry out the party's decisions, strictly observe the party's discipline, be loyal to the party, work hard, to fight for communism as long as I live, Be ready at all times to sacrifice everything for the party and people and never betray the party. Per the report, a second trip took place a month later when the company took staff to Dabi Mountain in Anhui Province, where they paid homage to the CCP's Long March. Employees during the second trip also wore Red Army uniforms and sang pro-communist songs. A company spokesperson from God Ion Incorporated told Fox News that its parent company didn't fund the excursions. The official told the outlet, God Ion High-Tech employees in China are involved with many clubs, including biking and hiking clubs, and one politically affiliated club. None of these clubs are financed by God Ion High-Tech, and some employees individually paid for field trips to historical sites in China out of their own pockets. The spokesperson continued, God Ion Incorporated is headquartered in Fremont, California, and is not supervised, directed, controlled or financed by any foreign government or foreign political party. God Ion Incorporated does observe all American holidays and wishes everyone a wonderful Labor Day holiday this weekend. Goshen's North American Manufacturing Vice President Chuck Thalen has in the past dismissed concerns about its parent company's links to the CCP, saying that God Ion Incorporated is not Chinese-owned. He said, according to Politico, the rumors that you've heard about us bringing communism to North America are just flat-out fear-mongering and really have nothing based in reality. All companies in China, including foreign companies, are required by law to have a CCP office set up inside the company's structure, which supervises the company's operations. God Ion Incorporated registers as foreign entity. According to the registration document it submitted to the U.S. Department of Justice, God Ion Incorporated recently registered under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. The document states that God Ion Incorporated, which is based in Fremont, California, is wholly owned and controlled by God Ion High-Tech Company, Limited, which is based near Hefei, a city in eastern China. At the same time, the document states that God Ion Incorporated is not supervised, directed, or financed by a foreign government, foreign political party, or other foreign principal. God Ion Incorporated is, however, completely controlled by China-based God Ion High-Tech. The document also asks if the foreign principal will engage in political activities, with Goshen's answer to this being yes. Appealing movie exposes Chinese cybercrime in Burma. The crime action movie No More Bets has been a hit in Chinese theaters this summer for portraying Chinese cybercrime in Burma. Criminal syndicates reportedly lure and kidnap Chinese citizens and force them to work for cybercrime groups, which allegedly have ties with the Chinese Communist Party, according to a U.S. report. According to data released on August 28 by Millionaire, China's most prominent movie box office analysis platform, No More Bets has consistently topped ticket sales for the fourth consecutive weekend with gross revenue exceeding 3.4 billion yuan, about $467 million. The movie struck a chord with the Chinese audience, as cases of Chinese people being lured out of the country and trafficked to Burma, also known as Myanmar, to work as scammers have been widely reported. On June 7, the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, issued an orange bulletin to its 195 member countries, warning of human trafficking-fueled transnational fraud. Mr. Jürgen Stock, Secretary General of Interpol, said, just about anyone in the world could fall victim to either the human trafficking or the online scams carried out through these criminal hubs. Based on real cases of cyber fraud, the movie reveals that cyber fraud companies often lure in job seekers by offering lucrative pay. When trapped, the victim would be forced to become a telecom or online fraudster to scam internet users. Victims are at risk of being abused or losing their lives. Such companies are primarily located in Southeast Asia, including Burma, Cambodia, and the Philippines. In particular, many Chinese cybercrime centers are in Burma due to its political instability, local armed forces, and lawlessness in many areas. Burma borders China's southwestern province of Yunnan. Jian Kunyi, director of Finance and Economics Law School at Yunnan University, told China Newsweek on June 24 that Burma's armed forces use illegal activities such as smuggling, drug trafficking, and human trafficking as funding sources. China News on June 24 reported, preliminary estimates by Chinese police stationed in Yunnan indicate that there are hundreds of industrial zones engaging in cyber fraud in Myawaddy alone and at least 1,000 such industrial zones across Burma, with hundreds of thousands of workers, reported China News on June 24. A millionaire became a cyber slave. Chinese media reported a trafficking case involving a millionaire who owns a travel company in Guizhou City. Xing Weilin, who also owns 142 stores, was allegedly tricked into going to Thailand on a study tour in September 2022. After leaving the airport, he said he was knocked unconscious, kidnapped, and trafficked to Burma, where he was forced to work as a telecom fraudster for over 3 months until he escaped. Mr. Xing wanted to tell the world about his ordeal. He said in a video that his captor wouldn't set anyone free because the company made 28 million yuan, about $3.84 million, through cyber slaves in 1 year. The telecom fraud industry is more lucrative than drug trafficking and faces less risk, which is one of the reasons for its rapid growth. Mr. Xing mentioned an influential figure in the casino industry named Shi Zhijiang, also known by numerous aliases, including Shi Luankai. Mr. Shi was arrested by Thai police in August 2022 on suspicion of running casinos and online gambling businesses in Burma. Mr. Shi's casino in Burma is known as KK Park. Mr. Xing said, although he was arrested, KK Park is still operating, and the casino has 9,000 workers and makes a profit of 100 million yuan, about $13.7 million, a day, and if it doesn't meet that target, everyone will be punished. Mr. Shi has a $15 billion casino megaproject in Shikoku, a town in Myawaddy, which has become a bastion of illegal activity, including human trafficking and drug trafficking, according to Radio Free Asia, RFA. Mr. Xing believes that Mr. Shi is merely a scapegoat and that there are other powerful figures behind KK Park. Beijing ties of an influential figure. Mr. Shi, 41, is a naturalized Cambodian national born in China's southern Hunan province. According to RFA, official reports show that Mr. Shi attended top-level meetings in Beijing in 2019 hosted by the All China Federation of Returned Overseas Chinese, a United Front organization. The United Front Work Department oversees the CCP's foreign influence operations. It coordinates and supports thousands of overseas organizations to spread propaganda, influence local elites, and suppress dissident groups. The tycoon served as the executive vice president of the China Overseas Chinese Chamber of Commerce. In 2018, Mr. Shi was featured on the cover of China Overseas Chinese Entrepreneurs, a state-run Beijing-based magazine. As reported by RFA on July 26, Mr. Shi allegedly had close ties with Chinese officials and had been recruited by China's state security. The report disclosed that Mr. Shi was arrested because he had lost the protection of Beijing. With the secret support of the Chinese authorities, he had developed a substantial illegal cross-border gambling syndicate on the Burma-Thailand border. However, Mr. Shi began to build a 5,000-strong security force under the authorization of local warlords in an attempt to break away from Beijing's control, which ultimately led to a fallout with state security and retaliation. According to RFA, Mr. Shi is waiting to be deported back to China, where he could face severe punishment from Beijing. Beijing's role in transnational criminal networks. In July 2020, the U.S. Institute of Peace, USIP, published a special investigation report titled Myanmar's Casino Cities, The Role of China and Transnational Criminal Networks. The report said that some Chinese nationals with citizenship in other countries are involved in building resort towns in Burma's Karen state to satisfy China's lucrative but illegal gambling market. The report said, Chinese nationals, have co-opted Chinese government institutions and agencies to present their activities as central to China's Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative is Beijing's infrastructure development strategy aimed at expanding Beijing's influence worldwide. The report mentions 3 large-scale projects under construction in Karen State, Saiksagang Industrial Zone, Yatai New City Project, and Huanya International Project. They were built with funds from Chinese state-owned enterprises or Chinese businessmen. The developer of Saexagang Industrial Zone is the Dongmei Group, which is owned by Wan Kwok-koi, a member of the CCP's Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference and head of the criminal organization 14K Triad. Mr. Wan was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department in 2020 for his role as a leader or official of an entity, including any government entity, that has engaged in, or whose members have engaged in, corruption. The leading partner of Yatai New City is the Hong Kong Incorporated Asia Pacific International Holdings Group, registered to Mr. Xi. The report raised questions about the role of Beijing in these projects, which allegedly support gambling and telecom fraud companies. USIP said in a July analysis that the Burmese military government could not control its border defense forces, which benefited organized Chinese crime groups. USIP revealed Beijing's real motive in Burma. While it has backed the junta, China has also hedged by supporting some of Myanmar's most powerful ethnic armed organizations, extending Chinese influence in the country. USIP pointed out that Beijing and Chinese enterprises have taken even bolder steps to cooperate with the junta regime for their economic interests. Moreover, Beijing's partnership with the Burmese military regime would neutralize Western support for democracy in the country, Burma. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.